This is awkward. I mean, it's possible that we are live right now. We just
Oh,
don't know.
there we go. Now
There
we're
it is.
live. Hello. Okay, that took a minute. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome back to another episode of Always Almost There, day after show live. We've got a full house today for this episode, which is very exciting. Neil's back, which is always exciting.
Oh, hey,
Hi, Neil.
man.
We're back on tour, and it's exciting to have you here.
Yeah.
Missed you yesterday.
I wasn't going to miss this one. I wanted to be here with Harry and Dean, who, in my opinion, are the finest jam band adjacent podcasters under the age of 30 out there. Not even close. Not even close. So
I wouldn't call myself jam band adjacent, so
that's true. You only listen to 3 bands. These guys listen to more.
that are jam bands.
Yeah.
They like John Mayer more than me, though. That's for sure. So
Well,
I think
that's
that's
also
the
what I'm here
jam band
for.
adjacent part.
Yeah.
Anyway, Harry and Dean. Hi, guys.
What up?
Thank you so much for having us. This is very exciting.
Well, before we get going, plug your podcast, please, because everybody should be listening.
Yeah, it's a pretty sweet podcast where Dean and I will pick a often music related topic and list our 5 favorites of whatever said topic. So sometimes it'd be like 5 fave Goose songs, or 5 fave concerts we've seen, or 5 fave albums of the last year. Occasionally we have on a guest. Ryan's been on. Things got pretty heated.
Yes.
So definitely check out that
Yes, they
episode.
did.
Yeah, it's a good one. Harry and Dean's 5 faves.
Check it out. Highly recommend.
Definitely do that.
Did you guys interview Goose fans about any sort of questions at the show last night? You know, I know you did that at Hollywood Bowl last year at Fish.
Yeah, we didn't, but we've got some stuff coming up, so don't worry.
Okay, good. I'm not worried. Well,
Good.
seeing as neither Neil nor I were at the show last night, give us a little bit of context. Going into the Greek, this is Goose's 3rd time performing there. Shows not being streamed. Obviously, I don't believe we're going to get the recording of it either, due to venue rules. So huge shout out to the wonderful people at WTED Radio, who ran an audio stream for us last night, so we could listen from home. But for those of you in person, what was the vibe like heading in last night?
Well, this is my 2nd time seeing Goose at the Greek. I know Harry was at the 3 shows total. Vibes for me felt different. The last time I had seen Goose was in 2024 at the Greek, and they just felt like a bigger band this time. I don't know if it was the size or maybe the crowd energy, but they just felt more of a kind of bolder experience, and it felt larger than it had in the past, which was cool. Some people I was near, they were getting very excited about all the songs and knew almost all the words. And a lot of the studio recordings help with that, with the set list we had, but it was a cool experience from that perspective of seeing just kind of where Goose is at, especially not seeing them since 2024.
Mm-hmm. Harry, what about you?
Yeah, I'd agree with Dean in that, like, the first time I saw him at the Greek, there were like the emptiest show I've ever seen at the Greek. Maybe 1,500 people. Like, it sold so poorly that they added an opener on, which has got to be super rare. And then 2 years ago, it was like, okay, wow, this is way busier, but it was still a lot of room. And then last night felt packed. Like, it was like, okay, damn, Goose is like, this is probably, I could see this being the last time at the Greek, at least for a bit, or maybe the last time they just do one night there. So it definitely sold well, and it's interesting as a benchmark of their popularity. But yeah, no, vibes were sky high. I'd seen San Diego, so I was coming in hot, saw the homies, lots of hugs, lots of love. And yeah, it was all love and peace.
Love that. It's nice to hear that the West Coast crowds are getting bigger. That's been a thing for the last bunch of years, that, notoriously undersold venues and things. So I'm excited to see how full the Frost is tonight. I think people were saying last time they played there was like half full. So we'll see. But I'm excited for that. But glad to hear that LA is getting a bigger Goose following. And Dean, as you mentioned, people knowing the songs from the studio albums, that was kind of the name of the game last night. This is kind of a festival show. Not a ton of jamming, not a ton of excitement. for a fan like me who complains about everything. But Neil, you can shake your head all you want, but you agree with me.
Hell, I mean, I don't. Not on the
I
level
don't
that you
disagree,
are.
is what
Right.
you're gonna say.
They played a show full of bangers, hated it. Let's launch into this. So that's the context that we're getting here. All right, excellent. I don't know. I mean, it's you know they're going to play these types of sets when they play in LA. They always play these types of shows.
Yeah,
so,
but the
I
last
mean,
LA
this should
show
be
at
no
least had
surprise
a
to you.
the last LA show at least had a 27-minute drip field, you know, and a 20-minute big modern to kind of balance things out. So I think, you know, on one hand, if we're never getting the recording from last night, I was saying like I'm happy that there's no bracket jams from this show because I don't want to deal with having a, you know, a bracket with a song that's like not available to listen with everything else. Because, you know, then that naturally suffers because people would be unwilling to head to re-listen or wherever you would need to. So even if they played the jam of the year last night, you know, it would have an unfair disadvantage due to no official recording. So part of me is like a little relieved, but also, you know, when you go into any Goose show, especially after the really solid opener in San Diego on Thursday, I think I was hoping for a little bit more out of this one.
So some context here. So last night was not streamed. It was actually fan streamed by friends over at WTED Radio. So
which I
shout out to
mentioned,
those folks. And then tonight also same deal, correct?
Correct, I believe so.
Okay. All right, just wanted to.
The WTED will be streaming tonight's show. Unclear if it's the same rule about recording release, but hopefully, maybe, I don't know. We'll see. But anyway, let's dive into the show itself here. You know, this first set, you know, very, very first setty here. You know, I think we can kind of tackle most of it at once. We'll leave off the arrow for after because I think that's some interesting stuff. But Harry and Dean, you know, we get Rockdale, Media, Your Direction, Peach, Dustin, and Good to Be. Kind of a very prototypical 2026 first set hits. Is that kind of how it felt?
Ryan, it felt so prototypical. No, I was happy with it. You know, I saw Goose once last year, but just at a festival, so it was an hour set. So these two shows really felt like kind of the first one since 2024. So I was like, just give it to me. I'm happy with whatever comes. But yeah, I thought, you know, especially the first like 3-4, pretty straightforward. I didn't know Peach. And I didn't love the song, but the jam was super killer. Like it got to the end, banging. And then right when they switched the beat, you know, I was like, ooh, Dustin Hoffman. And then we got it. And that, you know, it's a fan fave. I love the funkiness. So that was a fave for sure. And then Good to Be, catchy. And, you know, Ryan, you missed out. And Neil, you did too. But Ryan, you really missed out because Hollywood Jesus and Hollywood Hills, man.
You know, that's fair. That's a great point. I actually had totally forgotten about that, like that connection and that line until I was listening to the stream last night and they sang it. I was like, oh yeah, they're in Hollywood right now. Like that.
Yeah, there's no way they weren't playing that.
Yeah, I did pick Good to Be just for the record. But yeah.
Yeah, I thought like my Goose enjoyment the past year has been their studio music. So getting this set was super fun for me. Your Direction was a highlight for me just because I love that song and I had a lot of fun with it. Talking to some friends afterward, I don't know how other people feel about that song. Maybe not the same way. Had a buddy or friend, he was like, man, that like Your Direction. And I was so excited. I thought he was going to have the same thoughts as me. Like, that was awesome. He's like, that wasn't awesome. So that was fun.
Wow.
But, yeah, I think he called it like a bathroom song.
The new bathroom break song.
Yeah, which, I mean, everyone has their own opinions, but I love that song. And yeah, the Good to Be stood out to me from this set a lot. Yeah, the Rockdale felt very similar to the studio version. To me, I re-listened to the studio version today, and it sounded very similar. But I guess it could just be a little warm up getting into the show. But yeah, it was a lot of fun for me just listening to all the studio music only last year. Going into this was great.
That's a very interesting perspective, given that, you know, I pretty much don't ever listen to Studio Goose
I was just gonna jump in and
like,
say
at
like,
all. Yeah.
I appreciate this perspective because Ryan actually has never heard Studio Goose in his life. It's just,
Hey,
you know,
I've
give
heard it a couple
cursory
of
listen
times.
once. Yeah.
I've heard it a couple of times. I've listened to Studio Pop like 200 times.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's really good. I
It's
mean,
not.
I listen to the live versions now, but you know, when there were no live versions. But yeah, I mean, to me, this is good. Like, you know, they're playing the songs. Harry, I'm happy to hear your opinion on Peach because I feel the same way. You know, not my favorite song. I know the band is loving it right now, but the jam always seems to get the crowd really, you know, riled up. Like I think of MSG specifically in June is just like a really surprising moment where everyone got really excited about the Peach jam. Yeah. Otherwise, I was kind of like, you know, you're gonna play a 3-minute media, like a little bit disappointed. You know, just to be a standalone. You know, like they do that sometimes where they like segued into it and it's been quick, or you know, it's like later in a set and they don't have as much time. So, you know, I feel like media's had such a interesting year so far, and there are a few different versions. You know, New Orleans, London, SPAC that have done some really cool things, and so I was surprised to see it just kind of in like a very quick version here. Otherwise,
you're talking about the Goons. The Goons. It has
specific,
Goons.
yeah. Like,
Yeah.
are they allowed to do goons in the daylight? You know, that early in the set?
I don't know. Hey, listen. Just I want to say a couple of things about this set. So, media without jam kind of feels weird to me now because it's just so good with the Goons added on to the end of it. But set list construction wise, there's some weird things happening in this set, which I think makes it a little bit of a treat. This is only the second time Good to Be has been played in a first set ever. The other time being in Cabo. And this is only the third, maybe fourth arrow in the last 2 years that has been played in the first set. Another one.
Ooh.
So they're turning their set listing on their head a little bit here to play the songs, right? So you get a lot of bangers in this show. I don't think many people were walking away from this saying like, man, I wish they had played more of the hits, you know? So this is a good show, Ryan Storm.
Exactly, Ryan.
So
Neil,
so
Neil, you would know because you've listened to it several times.
I've listened to it a ton, but I do know a couple things about this show right off the bat, which is they're approaching this show a little bit differently than they typically do.
Sure. And we do get some jamming in this first set closing arrow. You know, the audio stream didn't have the best of clarity, but I really liked the very like dark and churny section they got to in the middle. You know, with heavy helpings of normal arrow on either side. But I was excited to see a little bit improv there. But what was that like in person for you guys?
I would say that was probably the highlight of the set for me, just also with it being probably the longest song that they played in that set. But yeah, once they came back into Arrow, I guess more like the format, that was probably the highlight, and it was pretty exciting. Yeah, it was fun.
Did it catch you off guard that they didn't play it in the studio arrangement?
No, it didn't. But once they came back to, the singing, I was like, hey, I recognize this. So,
Harry, what about you?
I was just surprised that they did it. I kind of thought maybe Good to Be was going to be the set closer, or I thought that they would just do like a short one. So then when they started Arrow, I was like, dang, we might be in for a long one. But I thought it was great. Also, at least jam-wise, the highlight of the set for sure. I agree,
the highlight of the show, jam-wise for me.
Yeah, it was one of them. But I agree. Like the dark section in the middle was sick. And then, it's always a good dance one. But I was kind of surprised. I thought that was one maybe I didn't really expect to hear tonight. So I was pleasantly surprised. And in terms of like the set list, as someone who I don't listen to like tons and tons of Goose, but like I'm obviously a huge Deadhead. I kind of like, a set where it's got like a shorter or more songs in the first set and like getting one big jam in it. I like that as a first set, kind of get us warmed up, and then second set, explore more. So that feels in my territory. So yeah, I was super pleasantly surprised with the Arrow.
It was good. And yeah, Neil, thank you for pointing out the rarity of first set arrows these days.
Yeah, I mean they're not all that often. I'm left with this one question though, after having talked about this, like who are the Future Islands fans out there? Because every time they play Peach and we talk about this with somebody, they're like, I don't dig that song. And but
You know who the Future Islands fan is, Neil? Rick. And I think that's the only one that really matters
that's
here.
absolutely right. Yeah, that's absolutely right.
That's why it's getting played.
Yeah. It's a good song.
All right. Yeah, sure. Fine. Yeah. They like it. Crowd likes it. The jam is good, sure. It's funny that the two covers or the three covers in this show, are covers that I think that are getting a lot of play this year. State of the art less so, but two of the covers in this show I feel like are getting, very heavy rotation this year. But let's talk about this second set here. Diving in Hunger Sight into Creatures. Harry, why don't you lead us off on this one? These two songs.
I would love to. Hunger Sight, I was feeling it. It just seemed like they were going to open with Hunger Sight, as they often do the second set, and they did, and it was like sick, never going to complain about that. And for a while it kind of seemed like they were going to play it pretty straight, but then they delved into some new territory, some what you might call type 2 jamming, or type 1.5, 1.75.
I'd go 1.63, I think.
There you go. Not quite 1.2 anyways. Yeah, Hunger Sight was sweet. Everybody was stoked about it. So yeah, it was fun, and it rocked, and Rick was just laying on the shred sauce. So everything you'd expect it to be. Nothing more, nothing less. And then Creatures was also good. It was really dancey, and it kind of stayed in that Creatures territory for most of the song. But yeah, Creatures, not my favorite Goose song, but
interesting.
Very interesting. But the drop, at one point, you guys didn't have a stream, but there were a bunch of black and white lights, and it was like, and then when they dropped back into it, rainbow lights, big, like, it was so fucking dank, dude. Like, and it was just, it exploded. So that was like, maybe that like 10 seconds could have been the highlight of the show, just in like one little moment. That was awesome.
Well, I really appreciate the sound effects there. It really, really helps color it for those of us who didn't get to see the lights last night. Shout out to Getty. Yeah, and as you guys can attest, as people, I guess you haven't seen them this year, so like current light rig's pretty good. Dean, where would you compare the shredding in Hunger Sight to your favorite John Mayer moments?
Whoa, big question. I mean,
don't ask him that.
Yeah, that might. How much time do I have to go into that? It was great though, and I agree. Where it's like, I mean, that's a song I hadn't seen before, so now I feel like I can just Harry might.
Really?
I don't think so.
What previous Goose shows have you seen?
Wiltern. Yeah, Wiltern 23, Santa Barbara Bowl 23, and then Greek 24.
That may have somehow, but that's crazy that it took you 4 shows to get a Hunger Sight.
Yeah.
That's wild. Yeah, that was your first Hunger Sight last night.
Sweet. Yeah. So I was hyped about that, and it kind of felt nice because, I guess that was the song I had been wanting to hear, like there's a lot, but getting one of those songs like right away at the first set or the second set, the start of the second set, just kind of let the second set be kind of open, and I wasn't necessarily like searching for anything. That Creatures was honestly pretty great. Probably my highlight of the show as a whole. Mm-hmm. That jam really, it's like Harry said, it stayed in the Creatures realm, but Trevor really stood out to me on that jam. I believe is a flanger pedal that he was using in the middle of it. Mm-hmm. That part for me, I think it was right before it dropped to those rainbow lights or near that. That was pretty sweet. Yeah, I know you're saying there was no Jam of the Year contenders in this set, and maybe there's not, but don't sleep on that Creatures down the road. It might be hard to re-listen to, but who knows? It could be up there.
I'm gonna send you some Goons Rex, Dean, and
Please.
you'll see. Yeah. But no,
Sounds
yeah, good Goons in this creatures. Hunger Sight has did the rockin' Hunger Sight thing, and yeah, I mean, I feel very silly in hindsight not having picked Hunger Sight last night because it's like, oh, they're gonna play a show with all the hits, which means there is 100% chance of set 2 opening with Hunger Sight. Neil picked it, obviously. 'Cause
Neil,
he's
you're
better
really
than me at Fantasy
smart.
Goose.
You're really
Yeah.
smart.
I just listened to too much Goose. That's the only really takeaway from all of that is it.
I argue. I
so much
definitely
fun.
listen to more Goose than you, so it's not just that.
You're just bad at the game. I mean,
Well, yeah,
that's
I only
also
have a
the
10-point
other
lead on you now for the tour. It's
Yeah.
bad. You gained a lot of ground last night. But yeah, Hunger Sight creatures. I thought it was interesting that they didn't really do the kind of segue into creatures that they've been doing so much this year. Goose is not a segue band last night, but kind of faded Hunger Sight and then started up creatures in a more traditional mode, which I thought was interesting.
I feel like this is the emblematic set 2 opener, right? Like if Goose is going to do like the 2026 version of themselves, this feels so appropriate, right? Let's open the second set with Hunger Sight. That's our banger, and then we're going into creatures, and we're going to give the folks the Goons. Which Harry and Dean, this is their first time seeing that. Last time you guys saw the band was 2024, correct?
I actually saw a Hunger Sight creatures in Vegas last year, so
you were there last
got
year. Okay.
the exact same thing.
Got you.
Harry also experienced the Goons on Thursday in the half step, which
Getting plenty of Goons over here, Ryan.
Yeah. Hey, I'm curious though, Harry, as the big deadhead that you are, did it feel weird to hear that jam come out of a half step?
No, I'm cool with it, Ryan. As you know, I'm not a big J-Rad guy.
I do know that about you.
As you know, yeah. But I it's like, all right, it's Goose playing Mississippi half step, and just like the jam out of Born doesn't sound anything like jam or like Born, the jam out of half step didn't sound anything like half step, and that whole half step was the highlight of my San Diego show. And I'm a casual EDM fan in that there are a couple artists I really like and not a ton else, but when we're bumping, Ryan, we're bumping. You know what I'm saying, Neil?
When the time calls for it. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I'm always down for a little Goons.
There we go.
Yeah.
Love to
So
hear
my
it.
point was like when you feel that for the first time, Dean, that I'm assuming that was your first. Sorry that I made assumption that it was your first, Harry. But like that kind of knocks your socks off. I don't know. It did for me. First time I saw it, it was like, oh man, Ryan was there. He knows. I was jumping out of my shoes.
Yes. Yes, you were.
It's a thing. It's a real thing.
Yeah, no, that.
All right. Well, next up, Redbird. I got to say, I was surprised by that placement. I really thought that was going to be Good Times, End Times, in its mid set 2 placement here. Why are you shaking your head? It was on the set list for last night. They were going to play it.
The reason why I'm shaking my head is, well, we're getting ahead of the set list here, but Ryan said in group chat this morning, I really wish they scratched State of the Art and played Good Times, End Times instead. And
it would have given me my 8-pointer. Like, that's the only reason
I've ever heard in my life. Like, hands down, the worst take ever. But continue. I'm sorry. Go ahead. I had to make that.
But yes, I did say that this morning because, I love State of the Art. And I also love Good Times, End Times. But another 8 points of Fantasy Goose last night would have been very beneficial for me. So, that's the only reason. But yeah, so I was expecting Good Times, End Times here. Redbird starts and the jam kind of starts percolating in a very cool way. Didn't go in the usual Bliss direction that we get, which I thought was cool. And then, Rick decided he didn't want to do that anymore and ripcorded into Empress, which, I was a little bit disappointed. But based on the way that the show had been going, I, wasn't too surprised. But what was Redbird like for your guys' end? Dean, let's start with you.
Well, during the Creatures jam, I thought they were going into Redbird because the lights went red and Peter went on his left side of the road. Yeah, so I went up to my dad. I'm like, $5. They're playing Redbird next. He said, bet. Went back to my spot. They didn't go into it, and I was like my Goose fandom days are behind me. Like I don't know this band as well as I used to. But then they did go into it, so I think I just got lucky with like seeing how it played out.
Did you get a crisp $5?
Not yet. I need to
collect.
get it, but
Yeah.
I will. But yeah, when they went into it, that's my dad's favorite song. Or one of his favorites. So it was cool that we got that. And I kind of what you're saying with how it went to Empress, without going too much into that. That's my favorite Goose song, so I was totally fine with jumping into that song.
Fair.
But the Redbird was solid and it did its job for
Eric?
me.
Yeah. Harry?
It was pretty sick. Yeah, I enjoyed it. I'm a Redbird fan. Probably my favorite Peter song. So I was happy to see it. Yeah, it started out in that kind of like major key jam, and then it moved into a different direction, a little darker, and it was cool for sure. But I also think kind of like in the crowd energy, that was kind of the point where maybe people started sitting. I was sitting for a little bit. So I don't know if like setlist flow is totally the move. Like cool song, dig it, but crowd energy had gone down. And I actually think like when they went into Empress, like dramatically improved the energy. Energy went back up. So I think it was a good call. And yeah, are we talking about Empress yet, Ryan?
Yeah, go ahead. Do it.
Okay. There was this dad like 2 rows in front of me, and he was just like, I didn't talk to him, but I felt like looking at him, I could pin him down to like saw some Dead shows in the 90s, dug it. Then he had, got a wife and kids and a job and whatever, kind of fell out of the scene. And now he's like, have you heard of these guys, Goose? Like, Dave, Rick, like, I really like Goose. So he was singing along. He started the clap during Empress, and he was like, yeah, like it just got so, he started the clap on Arrow, and he was going crazy on that. But during
There's no
Empress,
clapping in Arrow, actually.
Oh,
Empress
no,
has a clapping part. Arrow
right.
does not have a
Empress
clapping
Empress
part.
does, but Arrow, he started one. in
Oh,
our
so
section.
I don't like this guy.
No. He was lit.
He's one of the problem people.
No, he was bringing it, Ryan. And he was also like doing air guitar, but not in like a shreddy guitar face, just in like I'm into this. And he was like turning to his son, like, aren't you seeing how sick these guys are? So that guy was like kind of, but that kind of made it better. Yeah, that he really wanted him to be into it. So he very much just gave like, yeah, but I'm really into Goose. Like, just kind of like missed fish. Once again, I didn't talk to him, so I could be off, but that guy, watching him, he was bringing vibes. Empress got everybody going. I was with my buddy Jack, who was going crazy. Turned back to Dean, who was a few rows behind me. It's like, dude, it's his favorite song. It's my girlfriend's favorite Goose song. So it was a big crowd pleaser.
Awesome.
I feel like weirdly called out right now, Harry, by the way. But
well, no, you saw Fish.
Oh, I did. Yeah. So I didn't.
The whole point of this guy's identity is that he saw the band and didn't see Fish. Yeah.
Neil, how often do you close your eyes and just air guitar at shows? But like slowly.
Almost
I was just
never.
saying this recently. There's like one acceptable air guitar song, and I forget which one it was. What was it, Ryan? Do you remember?
That you said to me is like the only acceptable air guitar song.
I was like, there's one acceptable Goose air guitar song, and I don't
remember.
This. Well, whatever.
I don't remember.
I'm not a big fan of air guitar. I'm really not a big fan of clapping.
Yeah, so very different energy. But
yeah. Although
if Neil started clapping along to songs that don't have clapping at shows, I think this podcast would cease to exist.
Yeah, one of my favorite things to do at shows right now is in the middle
yell
of
at the clappers.
Show, if
Ryan
is next to me, I will start trying to clap out of time. Just to throw Ryan off, and it like he gets like real pissed.
The fun part about it though is that Neil does but the fun part about it is that Neil does have a good sense of rhythm, so he's incapable of clapping out of time. So, but he's trying, but it just doesn't happen. No, but clapping is bad. Don't clap at a show unless Peter is clapping, and Peter's pushing it a little lately. Any more thoughts on Empress here? You guys could throw in about state of the art. closing the set too.
Well, my quick thoughts on Empress is I haven't been able to listen to it the same ever since Harry said that the studio version sounded like Mario Kart.
I forgot
Um,
about that.
So sorry to put that back into your head.
Oh my
Um,
God.
but I was thinking about that. But yeah, I mean, for me, I love these kind of things and these shows and these moments for the people. And so it was fun kind of going back and forth with Harry, sharing our excitement about different things. So that was a fun part. I was freaking out. Are you guys fine with yelling? I hit a nice woo
Yeah,
louder
You can
than
do a
that,
woo,
but
yeah.
okay. Not excessive. I only did it this one
So,
time.
yeah,
So
that's good within reason.
perfect. But then sharing that moment with Harry was a highlight outside of the music for me. Because the
Ditto.
love is real. It's not just fake on the podcast.
You
there.
guys do enjoy the music, really?
I do.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Wait,
That's crazy.
so I've seen this clip of your podcast and you guys talking about Empress of Organos, but for those who are listening to this right now, can you give them this?
I'm gonna go. Yeah, wait. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go dig it up from your account and I'll share it on our
Okay.
story just so people can see it again. But yeah, will you just rehash that for everyone?
Yeah.
Yeah, we were reviewing how to chain your dragon, as I like to call it. And yeah, or we were talking about it, and one thing, like, immediately when I heard it for the first time, I was just like, why is this Mario Kart? And then I turned to my girlfriend and I was like, she hadn't heard the album yet. I was like, what does this sound like to you? And just from the immediate synth, she's like, oh my God. And then we played it for her younger brother, who's a big Goose fan, but I guess a bigger Mario Kart fan, because then he started chastising me. He's like, this doesn't sound like from Mario Kart. You don't play Mario Kart, blah, blah, blah. So he was like going at me. But yeah, no, it does sound like Mario Kart.
It
does.
absolutely does.
Especially when you see the edited video of
That's
a
all
Mario
Dean.
Kart race with Empress playing. Like it really just clicks for you. So yeah, if you're watching this live, go look at you. I mean, you can, if you're impatient, you can go scroll through the HD 5 Faves Instagram feed, or I'll share it after. And if you're watching this after the fact, go scroll through the 5 Faves Instagram feed to find this reel, because it's worth it. All right. Last two songs of the show. We get a state-of-the-art second set closer, which is always fantastic in this slot. Obviously I said I wanted the good times, end times here. It's purely for my fantasy Goose. State-of-the-art is fantastic here. And, Shama Encore, it's the 5th Shama of the year. They're going to keep doing it. People love that shit. Yeah, I don't know. It's Shama. Anyway, Harry and Dean, what do you think of the last two songs of the show?
Well, State of the Art was super cool. I did not know the song. I really liked it. I did not know what it was. Had to hit a quick Google search, and then when I saw it was Jim James, I thought that was cool. Harry's got me into My Morning Jacket this year, and we got to talk to Tom Blankenship from My Morning Jacket. I saw Jim James too. I should have started with that, but I saw Jim James this summer, so I've been getting into them. So this was super cool. I've been digging the studio Jim James version of this, or the original this morning. So it's super cool to kind of learn that song, but I thought they did a great job with that. It was a great set 2 closer. And then with Shama Lama Ding Dong, I was excited. I saw a guy, he had a shirt that it said something along the lines of that he was just here for the Shama, which was funny. So I bet that guy was thrilled.
I'm sure.
But I was more glad they didn't close with Hot Tea, because I feel like I think Harry's girlfriend is a magnet for that song as the encore. Harry can talk about that, but yeah, it was a fun encore.
Yeah. Like 4 out of her 5 Goose shows, I guess, prior to last night was a Hot Tea encore. So it's always like,
yeah.
Well, but they did it last time at the Greek, so she was safe. And they also did Give It Time last time at the Greek, so I was safe from hearing my least favorite song. So the fact that Shama wasn't Give It Time was chill. Coming out of Redbird, and Empress. Which, one final thought on Redbird and Empress. I don't know if this is totally taboo to say, but I was kind of missing Jeff's presence of the bongos and then his bird to fly part. And I was like, I know this is an extremely hot take, but I wouldn't mind a percussionist back in Goose. Empress without bongos just doesn't hit the same. But
I feel like I'm more used to it at this point. You know, beginning of 2025 without it, you know, it was very different, a little jarring. Yeah. I feel like I'm used to it now.
Makes sense. But state of the art, I didn't even know that, or I wasn't like totally aware that they covered it. And it was like one of those when Peter started playing the progression, I was like, oh my God, what is this? What is this song? And then Rick started singing it, and I was like, yo. And I like turned around to Dean, and I was at some point, I was like, dude. And then he was like, Jim James. I was like, Jim James. So that was sick. And dare I say, I mean, probably total bias of seeing it live and having the experience of not really knowing that they did it or like fully registering that and then seeing it and being like, yo, and then it just being a fucking sick song. But one of Goose's best covers, maybe, like,
agreed,
really awesome. And they go heavy on it, you know, which Jacket also does live when they do it. They as with everything, they rock it a little bit harder, but to get some total shredding on it, really sick. So I was stoked about that. And then Shama, it was a crowd pleaser. It's not my favorite. I agree, Ryan, overall. Like, I don't need to see it, you know? Less Shamas, more stroking. Just gonna toss that out there.
I don't know if I'd go that far.
Shirtless stroking, tarps off at Goose, question mark?
Oh man.
Oh God.
I don't know, man.
Well, back to your state of the art point, you should go check out the version with Jim James that they played in Louisville last fall if you haven't heard it, because it rocks.
Will do.
Yeah.
I agree, Harry. I've been saying for years now it is their best cover.
Oh wow.
This is the thing, like, jam band fans aren't used to people going out there and playing somebody else's song, especially when it's so vocally driven, and crushing it, right? Like that's kind of like the thing that has blown my mind about this band. So the very first time they covered this was in 2020, in 9/17/2020, the South Farm show, and I was listening to that show and I was like, holy shit, like what is happening? And the song still hits me the same way every time I listen to them covered. I mean, they do a really, really good job, and I don't know how many jam bands could, like, you know, do a Jim James song.
Maybe none.
Yeah, maybe none. Probably none. And so, you know, this one still stands up for me as like one of their best covers. There is no jam, and you don't need the jam because it's just you appreciate it for being a sick song. Ryan Storm can't appreciate things for being sick songs.
That's not true. I can occasionally.
Ryan's been trying to walk it back since the start of this podcast. You know,
I have been trying to walk nothing back.
This is what we do.
I think last night's show was aggressively mediocre. It's like, is that what we want to hear? It's like,
but see, like, but the whole point is, if you just take these songs on face value, this is an excellent show. I mean,
sure.
Yes,
but here's what we do. Here's something we do on this podcast, Neil, which is not taking things at face value and nitpicking what Goose does.
Yeah,
That's
well,
I'm
not going to sit here and tell people it was a bad show. Dean loved the show. Like,
I'm really happy that you guys.
That's
had
not
a great time
saying much, but I did.
It's a fun show,
Ryan.
Fun.
I was about to say, I'm really happy you weren't at this one, probably, because I think you would have come out a little devastated.
Yeah.
A little bit. It's fine.
Yeah.
I've seen aggressively mediocre Goose shows before. You know, we'll see what happens tonight. I feel like they've played, you know, that last time at the Frost was, I wouldn't say aggressively mediocre, but like
just casually mediocre.
Yeah, like, but yeah, it was more casual that time. And, you know, it had like a mid-set to Autumn Crossing, you know, which isn't, you know, the best. But I think tonight we're gonna get that Give It Time that you didn't get last night. I mean, there's a lot
feels like a premonition.
Might be.
Are either of you guys going to be at the show tonight? No. Okay.
Harry and Dean, are either of you capable of leaving Southern California, or is it like you like feel the pull of that region and you like need to be within a certain radius?
Ryan, you haven't spent enough time here, man. Why would you leave?
So no, you cannot leave Southern California. That's the thing here. Like, what would happen if you got on a plane to the East Coast? Like, would you just like turn to dust?
I don't know. I've never thought about that.
I guess
Dean's
we'll never
new-
find out.
Dean's New York trip had some ups and downs, so he was like, "Yep, California's home."
Yep. Well, great. Well, thank you guys for joining us tonight. Earlier show, 6:00 Pacific show time. WTED Radio once again for the stream. Excited that it has been a perfect weather day here in California. I was sitting by the pool, soaking up that California sun. I know it's Northern California sun, but it's still California sun. So I hope that it's a little bit approved by you guys. But it's been lovely, and I'm excited to see my first Goose show, the tour. I have a feeling they might be saving up the really big stuff for Reno tomorrow. It's their first time playing in Reno. It's like a very hot destination, to play on this Sunday. So I feel like tomorrow might be huge. But hopefully, we get some of that the night before energy tonight.
They say the heaters are always in Reno. So
I mean, it's by the way, people are saying that Reno is the Gumpa's Pond of the Western United States. Like,
yeah, that's bangers. Only bangers at Gumpa's Pond. We'll explain the reference later, Harry and Dean. Yeah.
Neil, you got any thoughts ahead of tonight's show?
No, I haven't really thought about tonight's show at all. I've been traveling most of the day, so we'll see, man.
To do.
We'll see
or
happens.
don't. You could forget to put in your picks tonight, and that wouldn't be a terrible thing.
I mean, we'll see if we get to listen to the show. I mean, you never know.
Yep. Well, again, thank you to WTED. But we'll see you out there. People coming to the show tonight. Looking forward to it. Harry and Dean, thank you so much for joining us for today's Day After Show episode. Always a pleasure chatting with you two. Everybody go check out Harry and Dean's 5 Faves. It's a fantastic podcast. In addition to questionable musical takes sometimes, they've done some great interviews. You guys have interviewed multiple members of Eggy, I think. D. James Goodwin as well. As you mentioned, one of the members of My Morning Jacket. Lots of great stuff. Check out. Go listen to their podcast.
Storm.
I was on it as well. If you like listening to me argue with people about pointless musical takes, boy, will you love that episode.
Oh my God.
It was
not pointless.
There's
not
never
pointless.
been a better one.
The topic was top 5 hot jam band takes, right?
Yeah.
It was.
Yeah. What and not to spoil the whole episode, but one of Dean's was that John Mayer is better than Trey. Or that came up in the conversation.
Not exactly what I said.
I think it's pretty much what you said.
We'll go listen to it.
Yeah, you should go listen to the episode and find out what he actually
it's
said.
pretty
But I
good.
think it was that. Anyway, thank you everybody so much for tuning in to this episode of Always Almost There, Day After Show Live. We will see you here tomorrow. I believe similar-ish time, maybe a little bit earlier, but pay attention to your YouTube or your socials for information on that. We will be talking about tonight's show tomorrow, as per usual. Enjoy the rest of your Saturday. Enjoy the show tonight, whether you're there or at home, and we will see you tomorrow. Thanks for tuning in.